He redefined the American dream, one hit, one hustle at a time. Sean "Diddy" Combs wasn't just a rapper or a businessman, he was a movement. From Harlem hallways to Forbes lists, he sold ambition in a bottle and made millions dance to his rhythm. He discovered Biggie, built Bad Boy Records, turned champagne dreams into global empires. Fashion, music, TV, vodka, everything he touched turned cultural. He wasn't just making hits, he was manufacturing legacy. This isn't just about one man. It's about power, fame, silence, and what happens when the story changes. This is the rise, reign, and reckoning of Sean Combs. Sean John Combs was born in Harlem, New York in 1969. A city of noise, hustle, and survival, his childhood shaped him. When he was just 2, his father, Melvin Combs, was murdered in Central Park. A drug deal gone wrong. Left to raise Sean alone, his mother, Janice, a model and teacher's assistant, pushed him with love and discipline. She told him, "Don't wait for chances, make them." Growing up in Mount Vernon, Sean lived by those words. While other kids played ball, he was studying moguls, Russell Simmons, Berry Gordy, Andre Harrell. At Howard University in D.C., he made himself a name before he had a title. Throwing parties so massive, promoters across the East Coast took notice. He wasn't just a student, he was a brand in motion. In 1989, at just 19 years old, he dropped out of Howard for a shot at Uptown Records. No degree, no guarantees, just raw hunger. And almost overnight, he became the engine behind a revolution in R&B and hip-hop. Jodeci, Mary J. Blige, Father MC. Uptown sound got sleeker, sexier, and it was Diddy pulling the strings. He wasn't just producing tracks, he was packaging culture. Black cool reimagined for the world. In 1993, just 24 years old, Sean Combs launched Bad Boy Records. His first signing? A Brooklyn storyteller named Christopher Wallace, the notorious B.I.G. And with that decision, hip-hop's axis tilted forever. They were more than just label mates. They were brothers in ambition. Diddy handled the vision, Biggie delivered the verses. Their debut track, Juicy, was an anthem. Not just for Biggie, but for every kid from the corner dreaming big. Bad Boy wasn't just a record label, it was a culture. The music had shine, the artist had style. From Faith Evans to Maze to 112, the roster was stacked with hitmakers, each with their own lane but united by the Bad Boy polish. The videos, big budget, the parties, legendary, the attitude, untouchable. But while the champagne flowed, shadows crept in. The East Coast versus West Coast feud wasn't just lyrics anymore, it was personal. Tupac accused Diddy and Biggie of setting him up. The media fanned the flames. Vibe magazine covers, death row threats. Suddenly, hip-hop had a war zone. And Diddy? He was right in the middle, steering a cultural empire while walking a razor-thin line between stardom and survival. Tensions rose. Interviews turned hostile. Lyrics became warnings. The music industry wasn't just entertaining beef, it was fueling it. Behind closed doors, the cost of success was growing. Not everyone in the crew felt safe. And Diddy, always the showman, was starting to realize that fame could be fatal. What happened next would change hip-hop forever. In March 1997, tragedy struck. Christopher Wallace, the notorious B.I.G., was murdered in Los Angeles, just 6 months after Tupac. Two kings, gone too soon. For Diddy, it wasn't just a loss, it was the death of a brother, a part of himself. The world watched as Diddy mourned through music. I'll Be Missing You wasn't just a tribute, it was a tear in real time. Backed by Faith Evans and 112, he poured grief into gospel. The track debuted at #1 and top charts for 11 weeks, but no amount of platinum plaques could fill the silence Biggie left behind. Still, Diddy refused to fade. In pain, he found purpose. He launched Sean John, a bold move into fashion at a time when rappers weren't seen as designers. His sleek streetwear disrupted New York runways and earned him the CFDA's Menswear Designer of the Year in 2004. For the first time, hip-hop had a seat at fashion's most exclusive table. But he didn't stop there. Diddy inked a deal with Ciroc Vodka in 2007. At first, it was a gamble, but through savvy marketing, he turned it into a billion-dollar lifestyle brand. Parties, billboards, product placement. Diddy didn't just endorse the drink, he became the drink. And all the while, he remained at the center of culture, collaborating with artists, headlining tours, reinventing his image with every era. From Puff Daddy to P. Diddy to simply Diddy, he was never standing still. He wasn't just building a legacy, he was setting the standard. As the 2000s rolled in, Diddy conquered a new frontier, television. From making the band the Run's House cameos, he was no longer just a music mogul, he was prime time. Making the band wasn't just a reality show, it was chaos, culture, and quotables. From cheesecake missions to vocal battles, Diddy turned artist development into appointment TV. He didn't just build bands, he built drama. Meanwhile, his brand became pop culture shorthand. From MTV Cribs to late-night interviews, red carpets to meme culture, Diddy was everywhere. His energy, his style, his attitude, it was all aspirational. And then there were the name changes. Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Brother Love. Diddy, and sometimes they called him Love. If reinvention was a sport, Diddy stayed undefeated. Behind the scenes, Diddy lived like hip-hop royalty. His decade-long relationship with Cassie was high profile. Luxury vacations, red carpets, and music video cameos. But beneath the polished surface, quiet rumors of control and manipulation lingered, hinting at a more complicated dynamic. And the parties? Legendary. His iconic white parties became the stuff of celebrity myth. Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Leo, all under one roof. These weren't just parties, they were power plays. For Diddy, they weren't about fun. They were about showing the world who really ran culture. Every room he entered, he owned. He didn't follow trends, he created them. The mogul era was booming, but so was the storm. But behind the music videos and magazine covers were whispers of control, of manipulation, of fear dressed up in fame. In 2023, those whispers became headlines. Cassie sued, claiming abuse, trafficking, and control. The case was settled in just 24 hours, but it opened a floodgate. Suddenly, more accusations surfaced. Former employees, ex-partners, stories that shocked even a scandal-worn industry. Then came the raids. Federal agents storming Diddy's homes in LA, in Miami. Helicopters, cameras, allegations of trafficking, and worse. What began as a legal filing quickly unraveled into a portrait of coercion and psychological control. Cassie described years of surveillance, forced intimacy, and violent outbursts. Not behind closed doors, but in hotels, jets, in studios, where silence was the currency. She spoke of being drugged, beaten, filmed without consent. Her lawyers called it a cycle of abuse wrapped in designer fabric. The lawsuit wasn't just personal, it was systemic. And then others echoed the same rhythm. A former producer alleged intimidation tactics during studio sessions. A dancer claimed she was offered to guests like a party favor. Whispers became patterns, and patterns became investigations. Court documents referenced surveillance rooms inside Diddy's homes, claims of non-disclosure pacts being used as shields, even mentions of hush payments exchanged for silence. The Department of Homeland Security seized electronics, hard drives, and phones. Agents weren't just building a case, they were connecting dots. As of now, the narrative has shifted. Once an icon of success, Diddy now stands at the edge of a reckoning few survive. The silence is gone, the stories are loud, and the truth, it's still unfolding. So what now? The artist who gave us Biggie, Ciroc, and a blueprint for Black excellence now faces the biggest trial of his life, not just in court, but in the culture. Some say cancel him, others say wait for the facts. But one thing's for sure, whatever happens next will echo across music, business, and Black history.